Now let me write the elements of 18th group. So first is helium. Helium. Then neon. Then comes argon. Then krypton. Krypton. Then xenon. And the last one is radon. So these are the elements of 18th group: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Now the speciality of these elements is they do not undergo chemical reaction easily. They do not react with any other elements. They are chemically unreactive. So they are also called noble gas. Okay, since they are chemically unreactive. Since they are chemically unreactive, means do not easily react with any other elements, they are called noble gases. They are called noble gases. They are all gases. Since they are chemically unreactive, they are called noble gases, or also called inert gases. They are called noble gases as well as inert gases, because generally they do not undergo any chemical reaction. Okay, so noble gases and also called inert gases. Right, we will know the reason later on. Why they are chemically unreactive, we will know the reason later on, because they have completely filled electronic shell, stable configuration due to completely filled electronic shell, so they do not undergo chemical reaction easily, or they are chemically unreactive, so we call them noble gases. Then we will go to occurrence. So we will go to occurrence. See here, among these noble gases, only radon is radioactive. So only radon is radioactive. So it is not found in the atmospheric air. Whereas all other noble gases, they are found in the atmosphere air only. Right? So all these noble gases are found in the atmospheric air only, except radon. Why? Because radon is a radioactive noble gas. Then where do you get this radon? Radon is obtained during radioactive disintegration of radium. Okay, so let me go to occurrence now. Occurrence. Yes, see here, radon is a radioactive noble gas. Radon is a radioactive noble gas. Radon is the radioactive noble gas. Even this question, they have asked it for 1 mark in your board examination. Name the radioactive noble gas. Radon is the radioactive noble gas. And is not found in the atmospheric air. Radon is radioactive noble gas, so it is not found in the atmospheric air. Correct. Then where do you find it? It is obtained during radioactive disintegration of radium. Radon is obtained during radioactive. Radon is obtained during radioactive decay. Decay and disintegration both mean the same. Radioactive decay of radium. Okay, radioactive decay of radium. So let me write the equation for that. Radium mass number 226, atomic number 88. It undergoes disintegration. So it undergoes disintegration. Giving what? Giving, I should write it here. Okay. So let me write here. Okay. Radium Ra 226 is the mass number, 88 is the atomic number. It undergoes disintegration, giving radon and an alpha particle. Alpha particle 2 and 4. So I have to balance with respect to mass 226, 4 to 22. 88 minus 2, 86. So this is how radon is obtained during radioactive disintegration of radium. So again, one more thing I will tell you. What is the order of this reaction? It is a first order reaction. All the radioactive decay, all the radioactive disintegrations follow first order kinetics. It is a first order. Okay. So radon is a radioactive noble gas and is not found in the atmospheric air. Radon is obtained during radioactive decay of radium. Here 3 questions have been asked. Only from this paragraph, 3 questions have been asked in your board examination. Number 1, name the radioactive noble gas. Your answer is radon. Second question, they have asked it in this way. Name the noble gas which is not found in the atmospheric air. Again the answer is radon. Radon is not found in the atmospheric air. Then one more question they have asked. Name the noble gas obtained during radioactive decay of radium. The noble gas obtained during radioactive decay of radium is radon, and this is the supporting equation for that. This is the supporting equation for that. Yes. Then what about? Leave that radon. Okay. What about other noble gases? So, except radon, all other noble gases are found in the atmospheric air. Okay. Except radon, all other noble gases are found in the atmospheric air. Yes, let me write that. Then about other noble gases. So radon is the noble gas which is radioactive, not found in the atmospheric air. Okay, and it is obtained during radioactive disintegration of radium. Except radon, all other noble gases are found in the atmospheric air. How much? To an extent of 1% by volume in a dry air. Collectively, all noble gases collectively, they are found in the atmospheric air to an extent of 1% by volume in the dry air. I shall write here, except radon, all other noble gases, are found in the atmospheric air. All other noble gases are found in the atmospheric gas. How much? To an extent of about 1% by volume. To an extent of about 1% by volume in dry air. Okay? So, totally, collectively, other than radon, all other noble gases are totally found to an extent of 1% by volume in dry air. Total is 1%, but in that, argon has the highest abundance. Among that, totally it is 1% by volume. Argon is the most abundant noble gas found in the atmospheric air. I shall write here, argon is the most abundant noble gas. Argon is the most abundant noble gas found in the atmospheric air. Right? This question also they have asked it for 1 mark. Name the most abundant noble gas found in the atmospheric air. So which one? Argon is the most abundant noble gas found in the atmospheric air. Most abundant noble gas found in the atmospheric air. Then we'll go other one. So krypton and xenon. Okay, krypton and xenon, they are present to a small extent. Krypton and xenon, their abundance is less. Their abundance is less. One more thing I shall tell you. One more. Helium, the important commercial source of helium is natural gas. Okay, the important commercial source of helium is natural gas. Important commercial source of helium is natural gas. Okay, the important commercial source of helium is a natural gas. This also they have asked it once in your annual examination. Name the commercial source of helium. So what is the commercial source of helium? Most important commercial source of helium is a natural gas. Most important commercial source of helium is a natural gas. Okay, so this is about occurrence. I shall tell it again, I shall repeat it again. See here, noble gases are group 18 elements. So what are those? Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Here radon is the radioactive noble gas. All these are gases. All are gases. Radon is a radioactive noble gas. So, it is not found in the atmospheric air. Then how do you get this radon? Radon is obtained during radioactive decay of radium. Okay, radium undergoes disintegration, giving radon and an alpha particle. Other than radon, all other noble gases are found in the atmospheric air. So, how much it is present? It is present to an extent of about 1% by volume in the dry air. 1% by volume in the dry air. All together except radon. Among these, the most abundant noble gas, it is, the major portion, it is argon. Argon is the most abundant noble gas, okay, which is found in the atmospheric air. This question also they asked. Right? Then one more point is the important commercial source of helium. The important commercial source of helium, it is natural gas. Natural gas is the important commercial source of helium. Understood? Since their availability is very less, about 1% by volume in dry air, they are also called rare gases. They are also called rare gases. Now let me go to the next aspect, that is, then the most abundant is argon. Xenon and radon are the rarest noble gases found. Xenon and radon are the rarest noble gases. Rarest noble gases found. Rarest noble gases found. So the rarest noble gases found are xenon and radon. They are the rarest noble gases. Now we will move to the next aspect, that is electronic configuration. We will go to the next aspect, electronic configuration. Electronic configuration. Yes, they have general electronic configuration. General electronic configuration. How? NS2, NP6. They have general electronic configuration NS2, NP6. Except helium. So helium doesn't fit into this general electronic configuration. Except helium, which has okay 1s2 electronic configuration. Okay, helium, what is the electronic configuration of helium? It is a 1s2. Leave it. Other than that, all other noble gases have the general electronic configuration NS2 NP6. So this also they asked once in your board examination. Name the noble gas which doesn't have the general electronic configuration NS2 NP6. Yeah, tell me the noble gas which doesn't have the general electronic configuration NS2 NP6. It is helium. It is helium because helium has electronic configuration 1s2. Helium has the electronic configuration 1s2. Now let me write the individual electronic configurations. I have written here the elements. Let me write the individual electronic configuration. So helium, you already know, atomic number is 2. Its electronic configuration is 1s2. Electronic configuration of helium is 1s2. And neon 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 10. Argon 18, that is, or else I can do it in this way. Instead of writing 1s2, I can write, okay, 1s2, or I can write it in this way. Instead of 1s2, I can write helium. Other than the helium, what remains? 2s2, 2p6. I write it in this style. And in next argon, it is neon. Other than neon, it is 3s2, 3p6. Then krypton, it is argon core. Then it should be 3s, 3p, 4s2. Okay, after the electron enters 4s, then it comes to 3d, 3d10, then 4p6. Right, note down the change here. 3s2, 3p6. This is 4s2, 4p6. But after entry of the electron in 4s orbital, before going to 4p, it gets filled in the 3d. So the electronic configuration of krypton is argon 3d10, 4s2, 4p6. Then comes xenon. It is krypton core, and then 4d10, 5s2, 5p6. 4d10, 5s2, 5p6. Radon, that is xenon, and after that xenon, it should be 5d10. After 5d, the electron goes to 4f14. Note down the change here. 5d10, 4f14. Then 6s2, 6p6. Okay, this is the individual electronic configuration. So they all have ns2, np6, ns2, np6, ns2, np6, ns2, np6, except helium, ns2, np6, except helium, whose electronic configuration is 1s2. Okay, here they have asked one question in your board examination. Name the noble gas which does not have the general electronic configuration ns2, np6. What's your answer? It is helium. Okay, so it is helium. I shall write here 1. Then the noble gas which does not have the general electronic configuration ns2 np6 is helium. Okay, the noble gas which does not have the general electronic configuration ns2 np6, that is a helium. Why? Because helium has the electronic configuration 1s2. That's all. Then one more question they asked a couple of years back. Name the noble gas which has ns2 np6 electronic configuration but doesn't have d orbital. Okay, so the question is like this. Okay, name the noble gas. Name the noble gas with general electronic configuration NS2 NP6, but which does not contain d orbitals in its valence shell. It was like this, okay, which has the electronic configuration NS2 NP6, but which doesn't have the d orbitals in its valence shell. Yes, listen here. Helium is not the answer because it doesn't fit into that NS2 NP6. Now we have to select among this remaining. We have to select among the remaining. Which does not contain d orbital. Does not. D starts from 3D. Right now. So there is nothing like 2D. So you have to select here this only. The answer is neon. Neon. Because the electronic configuration of neon, it is helium, then 2s2, 2p6. So it fits into general electronic configuration NS2 NP6, but since second orbit doesn't contain d shell, it does not have d orbital in its valence shell. So this question they have asked it. So the answer is neon. Okay, it cannot be helium because it doesn't fit into the general electronic configuration, and at the same time it cannot be any of these four because all these have d orbitals. Electrons may not be there, but d orbitals are there. So third onwards d starts, fourth d starts, right? So it is this only. Like that also they have asked the question. We go to atomic radii. Atomic radii. Atomic radii. Atomic radii. So in all other case, 15th group, 16th group, 17th group, etc., we used to discuss atomic and ionic radii. But in case of this, only atomic radius. Atomic radius. Because it won't form ion at all. It won't form ion at all. There is no question of ionic radius for noble gases. You know that in any group, atomic radius, it is increasing from top to bottom. Atomic radius increases from top to bottom. Why? Because of the addition of increase in the electronic shells. Okay, addition of the electronic shells. So atomic and ionic radii increases from top to bottom. It increases from top to bottom. Okay, with increase in atomic number. It increases from top to bottom with increase in the atomic number. Okay, then we will move to the next one. Then one more thing I would like to tell you. So up to 17th group, okay, so what we come across is in atomic radius there are two types, van der Waals radius and covalent radius. Okay, covalent radius is this way. When two atoms are covalently bound, half of this is covalent radius. This is covalent. van der Waals radius is like this. Van der Waals radius. Always van der Waals radius is greater than covalent radius because here the electron cloud will overlap in forming the covalent bond. So van der Waals radius is greater than the covalent. In case of noble gases, what we come across is van der Waals radius because they don't form this covalent. So in a period, atomic radius decreases and then noble gas suddenly increases. This is 18th group. Then it continuously decreases. As the atomic number increases, the pull of the outermost electron by the nucleus increases, so the atom shrinks. Atomic radius goes on decreasing. And in the case of 18th group element, that's noble gas, suddenly it increases because 18th group we are considering van der Waals radius. Van der Waals radius is always higher than covalent radius. Okay, so at least remember this: atomic radii increases from top to bottom with increase in atomic number. Then we move on to ionization enthalpy. The next concept is ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy. Ionization. Yes, you know, they have stable electronic configuration because of completely filled electronic shell. They have stable electronic configuration. Okay, so they exhibit very high ionization enthalpy. Okay, so right here, due to the stable electronic configuration of completely filled electronic shell. Due to the stable electronic configuration of completely filled electronic shell, they have high ionization enthalpy. Correct? Why noble gases have very high ionization enthalpy? Okay, so they have stable electronic configuration due to completely filled electronic shell. So they have very high ionization enthalpy. So I shall use one more term. They have very high ionization enthalpy. Very high ionization. But ionization enthalpy decreases from top to bottom as the atomic size increases. But ionization enthalpy, what happens? Decreases from top to bottom with increase in the atomic size. With increase in the atomic size. So from top to bottom what happens? Ionization enthalpy decreases. Come on, among the noble gases, which has highest ionization enthalpy? It is helium. And then this is less, this is less, this is still less. And leave this radon, radioactive. Xenon is the noble gas having the lowest ionization enthalpy. Correct? Why the ionization enthalpy decreases from top to bottom? Because of the increase in the atomic size, because of the increase in the atomic size. Okay, so they have very high ionization enthalpy because they have completely filled electronic shell. It is a stable electronic configuration. To remove that electron from a stable electronic configuration, you need very high energy. That's why they have high ionization enthalpy. But ionization enthalpy decreases from top to bottom with increase in the atomic size. With increase in the atomic size. We will go to then electron gain enthalpy. Next item is electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy. What is that electron gain enthalpy? Energy released when electron is added. Energy released when electron is added to that neutral isolated atom. Again the answer is same. Since they have stable electronic configuration due to completely filled valence shell, they have no tendency to gain electron. So very difficult to remove also, very difficult to add also, because already it is stable. So they have very high positive electron gain enthalpy. Okay, they have very high positive gain enthalpy. So they have a stable electronic configuration due to completely filled electronic shell. They have no tendency to gain electrons. They have no tendency to gain electrons. Hence, they have a very high positive electron gain enthalpy. They have a very high positive electron gain enthalpy, right? So lot of heat is to be required. Suppose you want to disturb that, correct? Since they have stable electronic configuration due to completely filled electronic shell, it is difficult to remove the electron also. They have very high ionization enthalpy, and it is very difficult to add the electron also. They have very high positive electron gain enthalpy. They have very high positive electron gain enthalpy. Okay, yes. Yes. Next aspect is why these noble gases have very low boiling point. Why noble gases have very low boiling point? Why noble gases have very low boiling point? Here, noble gases, they are monoatomic. Noble gases are monoatomic. We write He, not He2. Ne, not Ne2. monoatomic. The only force between these atoms is a weak van der Waals force, that is dispersion force. They are non-polar. Okay. The only attractive force between the atoms is a very weak van der Waals force or dispersion force. Hence they are low boiling. Okay. I shall write the answer. Noble gases are monoatomic. They are not diatomic, monoatomic, and okay, so they are non-polar. No polarity, monoatom, non-polar. The only force of attraction between these non-polar atoms is a weak van der Waals force. Or dispersion force. So, for gas to be converted to liquid, you have to bring the atoms closer. So, if the force of attraction between them is stronger, bringing the atoms closer will be much more easy. Here, the force of attraction between this non-polar molecule itself is very weak van der Waals force or dispersion force. Hence, they have low boiling point. Hence, they have low boiling point. Okay. In fact, helium is the gas with a lowest boiling point of 4.2 Kelvin. Helium has the lowest boiling point of how much? 4.2 Kelvin. Among all elements, helium has the lowest boiling point of 4.2. So, if at all any experiment, superconductivity experiment, etc., are to be carried out, they are carried out under liquid helium. So, helium has the lowest boiling point of about 4.2 Kelvin. Then when this liquid helium is kept, it has the property of getting itself diffused in plastic, rubber, etc. Okay. So, I shall write here liquid helium has the property of getting diffused in rubber, plastic, etc. It is a special property. Liquid helium has the property of getting diffused. Suppose you keep a drop of liquid helium on a rubber, then it gets diffused through the entire bulk of that rubber. That is a special property. Okay? Yes, let me tell it again. So, I am talking about the boiling point of noble gases. Noble gases have very low boiling point because these noble gases are monoatomic, non-polar. The only force of attraction between these non-polar monoatomic gases, it is the weak van der Waals force or dispersion force. So, it is very difficult to liquefy. They have the lowest boiling point. In fact, among all the elements, helium has the lowest boiling point of 4.2 Kelvin. Right? And liquid helium has the property of getting itself diffused into material like plastic, rubber, etc. And noble gases are less soluble in water. They have lower solubility, and the solubility increases with increase in the atomic size. Okay, they have low solubility. I shall write here. Yes, noble gases have very low solubility in water, but the solubility increases with increase in the atomic size. This one more point. Okay, so its solubility is very less in water, but solubility increases with increase in the atomic size. This is about solubility. Yes. Next we will go to one more question. Of course, this I already told. Why noble gases are chemically inert? This is the question. Why noble gases are chemically inert? Why noble gases are chemically inert? Okay. Yes. Except helium, they have completely filled electronic shell. Okay. So they have completely filled electronic configuration in their valence shell. They have completely filled electronic shell. They have completely filled electronic, or we can say they have completely filled electronic configuration. They have completely filled electronic configuration in their valence shell. They have completely filled electronic configuration in their valence shell. Okay, number 1 point. Second point is they have very high ionization enthalpy and very high positive electron gain enthalpy. They have very high ionization enthalpy and high positive electron gain enthalpy. Okay, they have completely filled electronic configuration in their valence shell, that is stable configuration, completely filled. Okay, they have a large value of ionization enthalpy and high positive electron gain enthalpy. So they are chemically inert. Hence we call them noble gases. They are chemically inert, hence what we call them? Noble gases. Okay. But under certain conditions, under normal conditions, okay, they do not undergo any chemical reactions, but under certain conditions, they form compounds. Now we will go to compounds of noble gases. Okay, so this question they have asked. So they have stable electronic configuration due to completely filled electronic shell, and they have high ionization enthalpy, and they have a large value of positive electron gain enthalpy. They have a large value of positive electron gain enthalpy. Next we will go to compounds of noble gases. Compounds of noble gases. Compounds of noble gases. Okay, listen here. Okay, what reason we give? Why they don't form any compounds? Because they have high ionization enthalpy. It's very difficult to remove the electron. But remember, ionization enthalpy decreases from top to bottom. Ionization enthalpy decreases from top to bottom. Radon you leave it radioactive, but among these, xenon has the least ionization enthalpy. So xenon has the least ionization enthalpy. How much it is? Xenon ionization enthalpy is 1170 kilojoule per 1170 kilojoule per mole. That's the ionization enthalpy of xenon. So, what the scientist Niall Bartlett is the name of the scientist. He thought that the ionization enthalpy of xenon, which is quite comparable, in fact slightly less than the ionization enthalpy of oxygen. What is the ionization enthalpy of oxygen? 1175 kilojoule per mole. See here. That's what the scientist Niall Bartlett thought. When the ionization enthalpy of oxygen, which is slightly more than that of xenon, why can't the xenon be reactive? That's what he thought. So already one reaction was known, that is, there is a very powerful oxidizing agent, platinum hexafluoride is a very powerful oxidizing agent. When platinum hexafluoride is allowed to react with oxygen, platinum hexafluoride oxidizes oxygen also. So the compound what you get is O2 with plus charge, then PTF6 with minus charge. In this way, a compound was obtained. So platinum hexafluoride is such a powerful oxidizing agent that it oxidizes oxygen also. It takes one electron from oxygen. So that oxygen is connected to O2 plus, and that electron will be with that. So what the scientist Niall Bartlett thought is, when this platinum hexafluoride can oxidize oxygen, why can't it oxidize xenon, which is having a little less ionization energy? Okay, so the comparable ionization energy of oxygen and xenon made Neil Bartlett to think about the formation of compounds of xenon. Okay, I shall write here comparable ionization enthalpy of oxygen and xenon made Neil Bartlett to think about the formation of compounds of xenon. Okay, so it is comparable ionization enthalpy of xenon and oxygen made Neil Bartlett to think about the formation of compounds of xenon. Okay, so what he did there, Neil Bartlett? He mixed what? Xenon with vapors of platinum hexafluoride, PT. He mixed xenon with the vapors of platinum hexafluoride. Vapors. To his surprise, a red solid was obtained. So this is a gas. It's a gas. So to his surprise, what is obtained? A red solid. XePtF6. This is plus and this is minus. It is a red solid. It is a red solid. The way how platinum hexafluoride oxidized oxygen, it oxidized xenon also. It removed an electron from xenon and you got this compound. And this was the first compound of noble gas prepared by Neil Bartlett. Okay, the name of this I shall tell you. This is xenon hexafluoroplatinate 5. Xenon hexafluoroplatinate 5. Okay, so xenon hexafluoroplatinate 5. Okay, I shall write the formula Xe plus Pt F6 minus is the first compound of noble gas prepared by Neil Bartlett. Okay, so this is the first compound. The preparation of the first compound of xenon, the credit goes to Neil Bartlett. It is the name of the scientist, Neil Bartlett. The credit goes to him. How do you prepare this particular compound? When xenon is mixed with the platinum hexafluoride. This is platinum hexafluoride, a red solid Xe plus PtF6 minus. That is what. So this is how you can prepare this compound, xenon hexafluoroplatinate 5. And it has got the significance. It is the first compound of noble gas prepared. Who prepared it? Neil Bartlett. So how you got the idea that compounds can be prepared by noble gases? Because of the comparable ionization enthalpies of xenon and oxygen. Xenon and oxygen. Now, among the noble gases, why helium does not form compounds? The two reasons: it has got very high ionization enthalpy, and number two, there are no d orbitals. So, why helium does not form any compounds? Why helium does not form any compounds? The two reasons what you can give is high ionization enthalpy and absence of d orbitals. Absence of d orbitals in its valence shell. Absence of d orbitals in its valence shell. Okay? Yeah, helium does not form compounds at all because really it has got very high ionization enthalpy and there are no d electrons in its valence. Then tell me, among the noble gases, which forms the maximum number of compounds? Xenon forms a maximum number of compounds because it has lowest ionization enthalpy among the noble gases and it has d orbital. Okay, so xenon forms a maximum number of compounds. Because it has lowest ionization enthalpy. It has lowest ionization enthalpy among the noble gases. It has the lowest ionization enthalpy among the noble gases. That's why it forms maximum number of compounds. Now we will move to xenon fluorine compounds. Okay, I shall rub this. Next we'll go to xenon fluorine compounds.